Hey guys, so we have a full moon to talk about today. This is a full moon in Capricorn, and I feel like it's really sort of representing the beginning of the end of the old established ways of being. There is a new paradigm that is really going to begin emerging over the course of this next couple weeks. This full moon cycle is really playing into this process in a lot of ways. The full moon itself is going to be in a conjunction to Pluto and Mercury in almost an exact sextile to the North Node and Uranus, trine to the South Node, some really transformative stuff that we have going on throughout the course of this cycle. And we are in some revolutionary times right now, you guys. And this cycle, this full moon cycle, should be very illuminating and should be changing. There's a lot of changes underway. So let's get into this report, this chart, and see what this breakdown of energetics looks like for us that is moving us throughout the next 2 weeks and towards this really powerful Mars North Node Uranus conjunction that's coming up on the 31st of July. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today is Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is my overview for the full moon in Capricorn that we have playing out today. And you guys, it's another big one. This is another super moon, meaning that it is in a closer proximity to the Earth, so the moon is going to appear much larger. We're in a full moon phase, and that is when the energy is at its highest each month, and so energy should be generally running high. We are also in more black moon energy. This is a black moon month that we have been in. This is a black moon lunar cycle. We began this lunar cycle with the sun and the moon in an exact, almost like 1 degree off conjunction to the black moon, and now we have our full moon going on in the sign opposing where the black moon is at right now. The black moon is currently in the sign of Cancer, so when we have our moon in Capricorn, this is activating, triggering, and setting off this black moon energy as well. And the black moon rules our shadow side, our fears, our worries, our insecurities, our doubts. So I feel like we're definitely going to be coming into contact with or understanding the root of some fears that have been playing more of a detrimental role in our experience up until this point in time, because this is a change of guard. Like, this is a regime change happening within us, and therefore, also being mirrored in the world around us. And we are coming back into a sense of our own personal power based on some reestablished or re-recognized personal values that are taking a prominence as we move forward, that is really shifting and changing things for us, and again, helping us to break through some of the limitations possibly put in place through some fears that had been operating under the surface of our consciousness, or also in a very conscious way that may have been impacting our ability to make changes in our lives. So these type of things are definitely on the table for some type of divine realignment or rectification this cycle. So let's get into it. First of all, I sort of want to read you guys some themes that I'm feeling like are resonating to the energy that is coming through in this full moon. For one, I feel like it's very much to do, sort of like I was just saying, about breaking out of personal illusions or personal fears, and this process actually helping us to surrender the things and the attachments of the past that have been keeping us out of our place of power, or have been keeping us from recognizing the truth of the value and the potential we hold within us. And sort of like along those same lines, exposing abuses of power in government and authority, and where they have been working against the needs of the people, or where we have been sabotaging our own needs based on some type of internal system or programming that we had been adhering to in the past, and this perhaps having prevented us from being able to align with our authentic truth and like really cultivate and develop our potential and stuff like that, therefore keeping us out of a state of our true self-empowerment. And I feel like these are the type of themes that we are likely to be sort of experiencing as this energy is playing out, both internally in terms of the way that we are relating with our own internal sense of like personal limitation, and also externally in the world around us. This is not going to be a good time for controllers in any form, authority, leadership in any form that has been in control for a long period of time, that has been manipulative, deceptive, or abusive or coercive in any type of a way. Any of these more like dark or negative ways of using or applying power and control and influence are not going to go well over the course of this cycle, and especially, moving towards this big Mars-Uranus North Node conjunction. that we have coming up as well. We are in a period of time right now of some real like karmic cleanup, like karmic clearing, karmic detox that is releasing us, again, like I've said, from our fears or from the places where we've been surrendering our power in the past that have been keeping us out of the truth of our potential, because we are bridging into a new paradigm right now, you guys. We are bridging into the age of Aquarius, and in the age of Aquarius, it is very important that we are operating from our truth, from our authenticity, in alignment with the mission that we came here to serve and fulfill, essentially. Like, there's no more putting our personal authentic potential on the back burner in order to sort of mold and to fit the ideals of society or culture or the expectations that are set for us by the way that our life is structured and set up, and the external like material matrix and stuff like that. Like, this is all breaking down, and what is emerging is authentic human potential in conjunction with an awakened human spirit that is launching us forward into this new Aquarian paradigm that is an age of information, self-knowledge, self-mastery, and ultimately co-creation with God and universe, based on an ability to be in the state of self-mastery and align with this more conscious understanding of reality and the nature of this existence generally, which we are collectively awakening to as we go through this conscious revolution that is very highlighted this month and this full moon cycle as well. So abuses of power and control generally being highlighted, and not just highlighted, but breaking down, restructuring long established power and control dynamics based on these changing values, and a reconsideration of the relationship to our own values, our own self-worth, our own potential, and what we will and will not no longer accept and submit to in our lives. The change of guard, this full moon to me is definitely representing a significant change of guard, like I said, that is happening internally and externally, a regime change, who we are submitting to and what we are no longer standing for. These type of things coming up for some type of realignment, a rectification that is having this ripple effect that is changing a lot of things in our personal lives and our external world as well over this period of time. And this may also represent a period of time as a result of this, like collectively on the world stage, where we're seeing some, or just in our personal lives, where we're seeing some bosses or leaders or government officials or authority figures generally that are actually stepping down, and perhaps even in a state of humiliation based on some of the symbolism that is present in our chart today, which I will also speak on as we get more through this report. Transforming our relationship to our own sense of inner value and self-empowerment, though, is really sort of like the catalyst of this process, gaining tremendous awareness of our root issues as well, breaking through these karmic cycles, these toxic attachments of the past, which is symbolic and the reason for these internalized and externalized regime changes going on as well. And this is because we are restructuring our inner world at this point in time in alignment with these changing values, with these changing desires, with these changing preferences that are underway right now, and what we want and what we value in relationship and connection with others as well. And as a result of this, we are sort of like shifting timelines. We are changing the direction of our future in a way that is in alignment with this process of authentic growth and potential and purpose and fulfillment that are the hallmarks of the paradigm shift into the age of Aquarius that is underway right now. So in a nutshell, theme by theme broken down, this is sort of, I feel like, the trajectory that's coming at us, what our experiences may sort of be pushing towards as we go out throughout this next couple of weeks, and actually into the first couple of weeks of August too, because this full moon is directly, building into this big, huge conjunction that we have coming up. So now let's start I want to talk about the aspects that we have at play and some of the symbolism that we have going on. First of all, like I said, we are in a black moon cycle. We are in a black moon full moon, because the moon is in Capricorn opposing the black moon in the sign of Cancer. Whenever the moon goes into the sign where the black moon is currently located, or the sign opposing the black moon, it activates and triggers these black moon issues. So the position of the black moon is significant for our full moon today. And I also want to talk, of course, about the position of the sun, position of the moon, and the position of Saturn. Now, this full moon, which I should have said in the beginning, but I failed to mention, is happening at exactly 2:38 p.m. Eastern time, and it is happening at exactly 21 degrees and 21 minutes of Capricorn and Cancer. For those of you who have been with me for a while, you guys know that I read the Sabian symbols, and so I'm going to be rounding up a degree when I am looking at the degree placement of the planets for our chart today. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you guys here. And because I read the Sabian symbols, which are a group of symbols that describe each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac and just sort of give us another layer through which we can interpret whatever aspects are playing out on any given day and any given chart, we also round up a degree when we read the Sabian symbols, because we look at the wave of energy that is coming in and not the wave of energy that is going out and that is dissipating. So with our exact full moon placement today happening at 21 degrees and 21 minutes of Capricorn and Cancer, of course, in the exact opposition, I'm going to be looking at 22 degrees of Cancer and Capricorn for the position for our full moon. And again, you guys, here we have the 2 2s in the degree placement today. So if you've been following my channel, you know that I feel like when we see sequences of 2s coming up, it is indicating a more significant energetic day in our transition to age of Aquarius. And I do feel like I said, this full moon is packing a major punch in terms of this transitional process getting underway and us sort of really starting to embody this new paradigm that is before us now. So let's talk about the Sabians for a second, the sun and the moon, and also Saturn. Saturn is ruling this full moon because it's a full moon in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. So the position of Saturn is also important, and I want to talk about the black moon symbolism as well. So let's just get it started. First of all, and this is telling us a lot, you guys, the position of the full moon itself at 22 degrees of Capricorn. This is also the position of the earth, because the moon and the earth line up when we have a full moon going on. That Sabian symbol is a general accepting defeat gracefully. So not only do we have this full moon happening, and it is happening in a conjunction to Pluto, which I will get into the aspects in just a minute, but just like right off the bat, the symbol that is happening, a general accepting defeat gracefully. This to me is talking about a breakdown in the old, previous established power structures and dynamics of the past. The sun is at 22 degrees of Cancer, a young woman awaiting a sailboat. This reminds me of the 6 of Swords card in the tarot, which we got in our message yesterday. This is talking about going on a new journey, obviously heading off in a new direction, and going in a direction that is going to lead to a much greater state of purpose and fulfillment in our lives at this period of time. The position of Saturn today ruling this moon is a butterfly with the right wing more perfectly formed. Ultimately, I feel like this chart today and this moon is boiling down to, at its like most basic level, an internalized metamorphosis that is underway that is strengthening our faith and our relationship and our ability to connect with and to interact with the divine and to have a greater relationship to our own faith. I feel like that's sort of boiling down to this metamorphosis or this transformation that is going on within us that is aligning us more with the spiritual frequencies and dimensions of our reality. A spiritual awakening, a great awakening is underway. And this is talking about Saturn ruling, who's retrograde right now in the sign of Aquarius, ruling our inner world and this inner restructuring that's going on right now in accordance with the Aquarian paradigm that's coming in and the changes that need to happen in order so that we can move forward in this new direction. And then the degree of the black moon today as well, quite interesting. The black moon actually moves to 12 degrees of Cancer exactly just for the moment of this full moon. And that Sabian symbol is a clown caricaturing well-known personalities. And so with the general accepting defeat gracefully, the position of the full moon itself today and the black moon in this black moon lunar cycle coming to a clown caricaturing well-known personalities, I feel like there's definitely, you know, like I said in the beginning, there could be some leaders or some authority figures, government officials, bosses, someone like that in our lives somehow stepping down, and perhaps like almost in a state of like humiliation, or there may be people like making fun of whatever is transpiring or going on, considering we have the black moon at that degree. Like there could be some fears or insecurities about the changes that are happening in these power and control dynamics right now, that like people might actually like make fun of them or something like that. And again, the only reason I'm saying that is because of this specific degree where the black moon is moving just for our full moon, just in time for the full moon today. So very interesting, the degree placement of these major planets, and I'll talk about some more as we get through the report, but just for the major planets that are really representing this full moon, the way that I'm seeing it. Now, let's talk about some aspects. The aspects are just huge that are in accompaniment with this full moon today. The full moon itself, First of all, is in almost an exact sextile to the North Node in Uranus in conjunction, and Trine to the South Node in the sign of Scorpio. 1 degree orb off sextile and trine, and these are positive facilitating aspects. So there could be some very shocking features of whatever is coming up over this next couple days, some shocking illumination into some type of corruption or some type of underhanded business that has been going on behind the scenes of things, that really changes our mind about stuff and really changes the trajectory of the direction that we want to move going forward. And again, because this is the moon happening in the sign of Capricorn, the reason why I keep saying long-standing establishment, like government authority, all of that, is because that is what Capricorn rules. Capricorn rules long-standing orders of control, long-standing establishments, institutions, and of control. And with Pluto there, Pluto rules power and power dynamics in all of its forms. So we're talking about long-standing power and control dynamics, and Pluto also represents like the breakdown of things, destruction, death, but also rebirth for the process of some type of transformation or regeneration or purification, or, you know, it's the Phoenix rising energy. So some type of breakdown in long established orders of power and control, some way playing out this cycle. And with Uranus and the North Node in the sextile, the trine to the South Node, this is actively releasing us from some toxic or some karmic cycles of the past, so that we can move forward in a radically new direction that is in recognition of the unique talent, potential, gifts within us, and our ability to activate destiny, rise into our highest potential, come into a greater state of self-mastery, and move forward to embody this new Aquarian energy and archetype age paradigm that is coming through right now. Major changes and breakdowns. We also have this full moon itself occurring in conjunction to Pluto and in opposition to Mercury. Mercury, who is also currently in a sextile to Uranus and the North Node of the moon. Major transformations, major changes, purge, purification, breakdown. And remember, Pluto is not just at any degree right now. Pluto happens to be at the degree where it was when the United States was formed. This is a Pluto return for the United States. Pluto is retrograde right now as well. And so the full moon conjunct Pluto at this degree as well. Again, like this is talking about the beginning of the end of these major radical shifts in leadership authority that have been in power for very long periods of time. This is a revolutionary energy. This is a recalibration of the structures within which we exist, essentially on, you know, the microcosm level and on the macrocosm level. Major changes, breakdown, and established power and control. And with the opposition to Mercury in the sextile to Uranus as well, shocking news and information, shocking headlines about it, things heading us out of the blue, totally unexpected, just blowing our mind, really transforming our perception on reality. Really, this is a full moon. This is shining the full light. This is illuminating something. This is showing us what is going on. We could get some really bizarre, shocking, unexpected insight into serious abuses of power that have been going on behind the scenes in regards to leaders, bosses, authority figures, power, all that type of stuff coming out in big ways. Another thing, this full moon is happening in a 1 degree off orb square to a point in the sky known as the Heiress Point. This is the point in the sky where the planet Eris was discovered. And this specific degree in the sky has a lot to do with being willing to fight for freedom. It's the freedom fighter degree, and it's also truth for the sake of truth, honesty, integrity, authenticity, for the sake of honesty, integrity, authenticity, like standing in the truth and not worried about who it offends in order to do so. Like this Heiress Point energy, the Sabian symbol of that degree is a boxer entering the ring. When the Heiress Point is activated, especially by square and T-square actually to where the sun and where the moon are, Cancer, Capricorn, this Heiress Point is 21 degrees of Aries. It's forming a cardinal T-square. There could be some fighting energy, for freedom fighting energy, or just like asserting ourselves energy that is playing out throughout the course of this month. Major change, conflict, fighting, but also like fighting for these breakthroughs, fighting for these freedoms, and fighting for this separation from these toxic attachments of the past, or from these karmic cycles, or from this generational trauma. We are really like clearing the decks this cycle and separating ourselves from the version of ourselves and our energy that existed in alignment with our previous programming, essentially, as we are awaiting this sailboat going in this new direction, and the rulers of the past, the generals of the past, accepting defeat gracefully in this process. As you know, also being the butterfly with the right wing more perfectly formed, going on this metamorphosis, this transformational process in alignment with an expanded right brain energy, an expanded ability to connect to God, spirit, universe, and to co-create in this dimensional paradigm, moving forward into the age of Aquarius, where that will be a much more tangible and conscious feature of our human experience. Now on this side, so we have the full moon itself in a conjunction and opposition to Mercury, in a sextile and trine to the north and the south node, a sextile to Uranus, and a square to the Heiress Point. Like there really is not a greater, stronger recipe for some type of revolutionary breakthrough, paradigm shifting breakthrough that is being represented by planetary configurations, lighting up the darkness, showing us the truth, breaking us through into a new paradigm. Now, aside from the specific activations that are going on with just the full moon itself, we have some other things on the side that are also playing out. We have, like I said, Mercury is forming its own sextile to Uranus and the north node. Mercury for our full moon is at 18 degrees of Cancer. Uranus is at 18 degrees of Taurus. The north node is at 21 Taurus right now. So this is a tight sextile going on. And also Mercury is forming a square to Chiron, the hero's journey, wounded healer, teacher, master archetype at 17 degrees of Aries. So Mercury is making both of these aspects aside from the full moon. Mercury is news, Mercury is information, Mercury is our mind, Mercury is what we're talking about, what we're thinking about, what's on the headlines, what's in social media, what's coming across the screens. In the aspect to Uranus and the north node, shocking news and information, blowing our mind, shifting the trajectory, shifting the course of things. And with the square to Chiron playing out simultaneously, this could definitely have to do with things along the lines of health or healing or wounding, and could also represent some painful or some difficult information coming through that is also causing this radical change or radical shift in perspective and understanding and viewpoint. So it's like on one hand, we have this full moon that is illuminating things for us and really showing us perhaps the depths of what's been operating under the surface, or what has been, causing the fears, what has been creating these fears within us that have been causing us to surrender our power. And on the other hand, in terms of our mind, these massive shifts going on based on this shocking information that really may be changing our perspective and causing us to understand a dimension of our wounding that may have gone on as well, or some painful or difficult information, which is causing this mental shift that is going on within us as well. And Chiron, this is also the inner alchemization. It might be a struggle, it might be a mental conflict, but it's pushing for gaining a greater sense of mastery over our own mind. And with Uranus there, Uranus puts things right. Uranus is the great rectifier. Uranus is the fixer. Uranus brings blessings in disguise. Uranus is the great awakener. In the North Node, this is fate. This is destiny. This is the path ahead. This is the hand of God. This is the next phase of growth. So something going on with our mind, with our perspective, with our attitude, with our mindset generally, with how we're perceiving reality, simultaneously changing, playing out, that may be, you know, causing some conflict, causing some difficulty, causing some pain, or shedding some light on some more painful experiences that we've had or some wounding we've had, but ultimately is helping us to come to a place of mastery over our own understanding of these situations and circumstances, and really change our viewpoint, awaken us to something very important that is helping us to move forward in this new direction. Another thing that we have going on the side of the full moon as it plays out is an aspect that is going on with Saturn today, ruler of our full moon, an exact aspect to Venus, and Venus is also making another aspect. Venus is making two aspects on the outside of our full moon today. Number one, Venus at 25 degrees of Gemini is making, like I said, an exact trine to Saturn retrograde, ruling our moon, who is currently at 25 degrees of Aquarius. Now, in the context of everything that is playing out, you guys, Saturn retrograde in an exact trine to Venus, this is telling me, and Venus in Gemini as well, this is telling me that some reevaluations that are going on in terms of what we truly want, what we truly desire, what we truly value for ourselves, and how we really want to relate and connect with others are really facilitating some of the restructuring of our inner world that is going on right now in correspondence with these personal paradigm shifts that we are making as we are really transforming, moving into this age of Aquarius. As we are undergoing these personal changes, our value systems are changing and shifting as well. And these changes in our value systems are really what are helping to lay the groundwork and the foundation of the new structure that our lives, the new forms that our lives will take moving forward with Saturn retrograde at this point in time. But, you know, collectively, more so on the world stage, Saturn retrograde for this full moon, in the context of everything else that's playing out in the trine to Venus, this is talking to me about really like getting back to basics in a lot of ways in terms of what we are desiring, what we are valuing, like really kind of sobering up in terms of our relationship to money, to value, to finances as well. I feel like at this period of time, as this, I feel like we're going to be sort of like cutting out the frivolousness in terms of the way that we're spending or the way that we're wanting to spend our time, the way that we're relating to others. I feel like we're going to be taking things a lot more seriously and being a lot more mature in the way that, again, like we are relating to money, to value, to time, and to other people as we go throughout the course of this process. And it goes right alongside as well with all of this North Node and Taurus energy, which is ruled by Venus, which is also wanting us to get back to basics and really, you know, take a good look at like our own internal resources and what we can create with them to stabilize our lives in some type of a way as we are detaching from this crumbling matrix around us, which may have been, you know, the place where we received a lot of our support externally in the past that is just not there for us as much anymore. We are sort of being called to begin to support ourselves and be more of active creators instead of like passive consumers, as may have been represented through the past matrix that we are moving out of right now. Now, aside though from Venus forming this exact trine to Saturn, she's also going to be forming a square to Neptune. And this is like weird because Neptune and Saturn are essentially like polar opposite energies. Saturn is very, very much centered in grounded, practical reality. Neptune is illusion and fantasy and daydream and delusion and everything but reality, essentially avoiding reality at like pretty much any cost in a lot of cases. And with Venus, what we like, what we desire, relationships, money, forming both the trine to Saturn and the square to Neptune, there could be a lot of confusion going on right now as well. And also with Venus and Gemini, talking about options, talking about choices, talking about decisions. There could be a lot of things that we are sort of coming out of illusion in regards to how we want to relate to others, how we want to use our money, how we want to, you know, use our time and our finances and like all of that type of stuff. There's sort of like this juxtaposed energy from reality and fantasy that is playing out, and especially in terms of what we value and what we desire. Breakdowns, the square from Venus to Neptune in Pisces, breakdowns and values in relationships and ideas of relationships that are out of alignment with reality and authenticity. Saturn and Aquarius, we have both of these feeding. It's like we're sort of breaking through these personal illusions that we may have been operating under in terms of what we want or what we desire, what we want in a relationship, how we want to spend our money, the type of lifestyle that we want to live in, what really brings us pleasure, like what we genuinely, authentically desire and want. We may have sort of had ourselves in some type of self-imposed delusion or illusion about what we want based on these matrices of the past and the social conditioning and that type of stuff, but we're sort of simultaneously coming out of that as we step into what we really do truly authentically value. And it's sort of like a minimalism energy. We're coming out of maybe these more extravagant fantasies into a more grounded, value-based, preference system, sense of desire in terms of how we want to spend our money and how we want to relate to others, the type of people that we want to be around, and also how we want to spend our time. Saturn as well. Fantasies and things not based in reality and at odds with our desire to lay solid foundations are probably going to be sort of left on the wayside in this energy. And it's kind of like no more BS, no more trying to convince ourselves of, or like fantasy fake ourselves in terms of who we are or who we want to become, or what we are, what our capabilities are. Like, it's really time to get back to basics and really take a good look at ourselves and our authentic truth, our authentic potential, our personal unique talents and gifts and abilities, and how we can use those and how we can develop them and how we can cultivate them to rise into our highest potential and activate our destiny, all along these Age of Aquarius lines that are being so represented at this period of time as we are going through this period that is causing us to start to become an embodiment of our authentic truth, and the things that are not in alignment with that, causing problems, causing conflict, falling away. Very, very, very creative energy though. Another aspect of this Venus sextile or Venus trine Saturn and simultaneously square Neptune energy that is playing out. Amazing day for manifestation, because Venus in the square to Neptune, the positive side of this aspect, it really can give us some very divinely inspired creative abilities, imaginative abilities. And with the trine to Saturn, this is an ability to really like tap into that creative energy and to channel it into like genuine physical like groundwork or manifestation. This is a very, very good day to, even though we're in a full moon, and usually the full moons are not the time for like setting intentions and doing our manifestation rituals and all of that type of stuff, but regardless, with this aspect playing out over the course of this next couple of weeks, this is good energy to make sure that we are staying in alignment with our vision of the future and working towards those means. This is a really good energy also for any type of work, any type of creative work, artistic work, musical work, beautification, any work that needs to be done to like beautify ourselves or our environment. This is a pretty good period of time for that as well. Although with the square to Neptune, we do need to be careful with, we need to make sure that we are understanding things clearly and that we are very sure that we want to like make the choices that we make at this point in time with Mercury with Venus in the sign of Gemini. We're not sort of, taking other people's advice. Like, this really has to, these changes that we're making at this point in time, to beautify ourselves, to beautify our environment, like whatever we're doing along those lines, the work that we're putting in, our creative pursuits, our art that we're creating, it needs to be coming genuinely, authentically from in alignment with us and with our personal truth. There's a couple more Sabian symbols I want to talk about before I draw a synchronicity card for us, before I forget. Mercury today is at 18. Cancer, a hen scratching for her chicks. This is talking about, the need to care for ourselves and our families, having a prominence at this point in time. Venus at 25 degrees of Gemini, a man trimming palms. We are cleaning things up. This is a karmic cleanup. We are cutting off the dead ends. We are releasing what is holding us back from expressing our authentic beauty and our authentic truth. We have Mars, 6 degrees of Taurus, a bridge being built across a high, narrow gorge. We are bridging, you guys, this cycle into our new paradigm, into the Age of Aquarius, and it might be treacherous, it might be scary, but we are doing our best to do it in a way with Saturn retrograde in the trine to Venus that is establishing some solid values on which these foundations are being built. Jupiter, 9 degrees of Aries, a seer gazes intently into a crystal ball in front of them. This is talking to me about the future that we are creating through this shift that is going on right now, and our need to really have faith and to trust the divine, and that things are happening in divine order according to a higher plan as things are playing out right now. Saturn, like I said, a butterfly with a right wing more perfectly formed, a metamorphosis into a greater ability to connect with spirit through this right brain activity. Uranus, 19 Taurus, a new continent is rising out of the ocean, a new paradigm. The age of Aquarius is rising out of the ocean, is rising out of the previous paradigm, the age of Pisces, and this is really what it is all about. And Pluto, a large aviary, the USA natal return degree. And then the last but not least, the positions of the North and the South nodes, you guys. The North node right now, 21 Taurus, a moving finger, points to significant passages in a book. I feel like this is talking about this specific period in time being very significant in the greater historical context of what is to come as we move through this galactic blueprint into the age of Aquarius. And the South node, 21 degrees of Scorpio, obeying their conscience, a soldier resists orders. Breakdown in the previous power and control paradigms of the past, the Sabian symbol of the full moon, a general accepting defeat gracefully. We are no longer following orders of the power and control hierarchies that dominated our existence in the up until now, the matrix of the past. Just definitely, genuinely some paradigm shifting energy that we have going on. And of course it has to be because we are in this time right now. Like this next couple weeks, things are really about to start heating up as we move towards this Uranus North Node Mars conjunction. Like things are about to perhaps start getting a little bit crazy. Some big shocks, some big surprises, things happening out of the blue could make us very uncomfortable, could be a bit scary. Remember, we are still in this black moon energy, which is triggering these fears, worries, insecurities, and doubts, but it is doing so, you guys, to actually help us get to the root of them, free ourselves from them, detach ourselves from them. Like it's like seeing beyond the curtain. It's like the Wizard of Oz, you know, like the things that in the past we thought were like so scary and so threatening and had so much power. We're realizing that we've had the power the whole time, and the only reason we didn't was because we didn't see it and we didn't believe it in ourselves, and we were afraid of the illusion, essentially, which is also what we're breaking through. And this is also, it's sort of like waking the sleeping giant. It's like, I was talking to my mom about how I felt like this chart was playing out, and I was telling her I feel like it's like, you know, the elephant that is sort of like chained to the chair, but because it's been conditioned its whole life that whenever it is tied to something that it can't move, it doesn't realize that it can easily just like move or like step over the fence or like, you know, break free from that little rope. Like that is what we're doing. Like we're realizing like, oh, this thing that I thought was my prison and that was holding me, like I had to exist within all of this time, I'm realizing was never that in the first place. And I've always had the ability and the strength and the power to overcome and to free myself from it. Like this is personal liberation from generational trauma, from karma that has been accumulating for generations and generations throughout the course of the past age. This is a karmic detox and a karmic clearing so that we can make this energetic transcendence into the age of Aquarius and come from this place of elevated vibration and conscious awakening that is allowing this to happen. You know, the age of Aquarius, it's not like, you know, the stars and the planets move into specific positions so we just wake up and it's there one day. No, it's like the stars and the planets move into specific positions, and this creates an energetic shift within the collective of humanity, and one by one by one, in a snowball effect that extrapolates over time. It's shifting our personal vibrations, empowering us personally, it's waking us up personally, it's bringing us into our own sense of self-mastery, and we one by one embody the age of Aquarius. We become the age of Aquarius, we become the paradigm shift, and then we start living in accordance with that. And because of the laws of this reality, we then start magnetizing, attracting, and creating, manifesting that externally as well. And like that's how it happens. We create it through the shifts that are happening within us. And this cycle is really liberating us from our fears that have been holding us back, and also from long-standing, pre-existing orders of power and control dynamics that have been keeping us from recognizing the truth of our value, the truth of our potential, and the truth of our power. And we are liberating ourselves from that, you guys. This definitely, I'm not gonna sit here and say that this is going to be always a peaceful process. I do think that we are going to face a lot of conflict, face a lot of difficulty, face perhaps a lot of fighting, a lot of people on very polarized sides of things. I feel like it could be a period of some serious contention and conflict and fighting that is going on, especially with that square to the Heiress Point as well. But this is a fight for freedom. This is a revolutionary period of time. This is a breakdown of the distortions and the inversions of what is right and what is good and what is true and what is necessary for authentic development, authentic potential. This is a re-empowerment, a reawakening of the human spirit in alignment with the conscious and spiritual truths of this reality. And this is humanity stepping back into our place of power and co-creation with God and universe moving forward. So very significant times that we're in right now, you guys. Very powerful, likely to be some very bizarre, unexpected changes and situations playing out over this next month, next part of the year, but it is all ultimately going to be moving us in a good direction. And when we look back in history, we will also find that this is when the major changes started taking place. So now let's grab a synchronicity card to act as a piece of advice or guidance throughout this next couple weeks as we close out this full moon cycle. Let's see if there's one that wants to come out for us today. And here it is. It says, focus. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. Isaiah 26:3. Focus your thoughts on God and on that part of you that is God. Tune in on God and his serenity over your life. When you can still your mind and think of God and be at peace in your mind, everything around you will fall into a peaceful routine in your home life, your business, and in all aspects of your life. Stay in this state of mind and you will prosper beyond your wildest dreams. So our advice over this next couple of weeks as this energy plays out is to have focus and to do our best to maintain a sense of inner peace despite what may be going on around us at this period of time. So you guys, that's what I have to say for our full moon in Capricorn video today. I hope you guys liked it. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you a little bit of whatever you're needing as you're navigating over the course of this next couple weeks. Bring life into a little more clarity for you guys. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would like it and be interested in this too. Leave me comments, you guys. I absolutely love your comments. I appreciate your feedback so much. Thank you all so much for being here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, and some other social media if you guys are interested in any of that in my description box below. And come back with me. I'm not going to be here tomorrow, you guys. I have some things going on during the day, but I will be back for my weekend video. And so I will see you then. Have a beautiful full moon, everybody, and I will see you on Friday. Bye, guys.